I think the way I would like to put it across, and I think Jonathan, the way he articulated the data points of the surveys and feedback is certainly relevant. I think the way I would look at it is there are different circumstances under which this becomes an essential role for deriving the social license to operate versus a vanity project. And since I work in both the developing world I get a very clear comparison, hands-on, almost on a daily basis. I also sit on the International Integrated Reporting Council, which looks at a more holistic approach on the societal role for corporates, looking at, as I mentioned in the morning, on the capital is not only a financial capital, but manufactured capital, social capital, human capital, and intellectual capital, and natural capital. And how do they interplay in terms of an integrated management approach, which typically has to be top-down, starting in the boardroom, and then the CEO getting mandated to lay it forward. And recently, in the task force for financial disclosures out of the climate change agreement as to what role that the corporate should have in terms of climate change and their responsibilities to the society. So when I look at less developed countries like India or developing countries like India, talking about ESG, whether it is in the regulation or not, is part of the social license to operate, especially the S part of the ESG. And I think India has not had a great record as far as environmental is concerned, like all developing countries. But as far as social license is concerned, if one needs to lead a corporate life which is in compliance with regulation, which is in compliance with the community's need to be taken care of, I think it is a very important part of the societal role becomes very important in the boardroom. A case in point, again, from my own experience, in 1994, when India opened up post-liberalization, we had significant imports coming in from countries which produce, or at that time produced cheaper than India. And we had a capacity of a steel capacity of about 3 million ton, and we had 80,000 people because we were a societal company. You know, we had generations of employees coming into our company were not questions asked. They had the right to be employed because their father was employed. And that's how we bloated into an 80,000 manpower company. At that point of time, when we were faced with market forces and market competition, which was international in nature and not restricted to India, we realized, and incidentally would put McKinsey to do the analysis, and we realized that we are overmanned and our productivity numbers are very low. In India, unlike in countries like in the UK, there is no social security network. So if a person is fired, he basically goes home and figures out how to live tomorrow. There is no pension, there is no social security. And yet we were operating in one of the most remotest part of India. And we had to take out people. And in the next 5 years, we separated about 50% of the workforce without a day lost in industrial unrest. And the answer to that was, if I was, say, at 45 being separated by the company, first of all, there was a huge amount of communication between the company and the employees that we are inefficient and we need to become the best to compete in the market. And for that, there are some jobs which will have to be eliminated. And if that has to be done, we will do it in the most human manner that possible, which is, say if I'm 45, my retirement age is 60, Tata Steel designed the separation program in a manner that he was getting his basic salary for the next 15 years monthly at his house. So the pain of a separation was reduced significantly, and yet the company gained because of the increase and because of the other add-ons which normally comes along with the compensation. And we went down from 80,000 people to 40,000 people in about 5 years. And that's been a case study used in India of how a separation process can be managed without affecting the society around who were built around this place. So I think if an organization is serious about playing the societal role meaningfully, that is achievable. If one is doing it for a brand building exercise, then it would be very much on the top layer without actually understanding the nuances. And I think that has been the part of our organization. And when I look at what we have done, even in the UK over the last 6 or 7 years, we've done the similar thing. While UK takes care of the social benefits are much better than compared to India, we wanted to do it responsibly and fairly. A, by consultation. B, by creating a corpus. We floated a company which was a social enterprise called UK Steel Enterprise, and created the corpus to ensure that we can take care of the community's needs, to give money for entrepreneurship, to reskill people, to redeploy people, and ensure that the pain of the separation is handled. This is only one example of how one can rise to the occasion, play an effective role, take the society along, take the community along, and ensure that yet, from a business objective purposes, you are still chasing the best KPIs to compete with the rest of the market.
Incompatible.
Yes, so it can be done if there is a meaningful engagement across the organization.
Can I just push you on that, specifically on this question of meaningful, as opposed to the sort of brand building?
Yes.
Under what conditions would a company then go for a much more meaningful engagement?
So I think there are two factors here. One is the underlying business needs compelling? In many
business case that Jonathan brought up.
Yes.
Yeah.
So is there an underlying business case compelling that can I drive better performance, better valuation, better comparison with my peers? And that's what is driving in many cases. And if my shareholders and stakeholders value what I'm doing, and that's why in the morning, as I was saying, the asset owners and the asset managers have a very important role in defining or adhering to the principles of responsible investment, because the whole governance framework in an organization then gets aligned to that objective. So it will work if that happens. And secondly, if there is a meaningful organization within corporates who can actually drive this to these objectives relentlessly. Everybody cannot be the best on day one, but if that is adopted as a philosophy, then it can move over years, because there is no end to it. It is a part of retweaking the DNA of the organization to align with the societal objective.
Great, thank you very much. I'd like to bring